Hey! Hello, everybody. Yes, it is Thursday. It is 9. So, of course, it's UK Cowboys time. It is Season 3, Episode 35, 165 in total. Pregame show for this weekend's game against the Eagles. We've got the Scottish contingent with us. They are walking 1,000 miles up there. And, of course, yes, and we've got our long-term friend who we haven't spoken to for nearly a year. So it was only right that we end the regular season with the great and powerful Big Game James. How you doing, brother?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. I'm doing even better that I'm on here. Been like I said, it's been like 72,000 years since we talked.
Yeah, I know.
And so when you said, hey, man, you're going to be able to do this show, I already told work, I told people, I told everybody, this Thursday, hey, it's going down. Don't bother me at this particular time. I'm leaving work early, and you're not stopping me because I got to get with my boys from the UK.
Yeah, and for anybody as well who isn't following Big Game James, make sure you go and do it. He's got all the hot takes, the stats. I regularly find them, put them up and share them on because they're always a lot of fun and quite interesting. I quite like it. But yes, here we are. And this sounds really weird to say, we're at week 18. Yeah, it's like we're nearly at the end of January and we still aren't in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's weird.
I know, it's really weird. In fact, we was talking about doing because we have a UK Cowboys Super Bowl party organized, and it's into February so late. Some people are like, "Oh, hold on, the day after's Valentine's Day." You're like, "Wow, never even thought of that."
I mean, but you go to the Super Bowl, that's a great Valentine's gift to some people over in my neck of the woods. You feel me?
Honestly, James, if you met some of the UK women here, they would tell you a whole different story.
Yeah, I mean, now, obviously, this weekend's game, we'll get into it in a moment. But I just want, as we always start every show, with just a general feel of what you guys are thinking of the game. For me, I think this is a nothing game to me. That both Dallas and Philadelphia really haven't got much in the way of winning. It doesn't change much for them. But for you guys, and I'll start with you, Paul, and I'll work around that way. What are you just thinking of generally of the feel on this game?
I honestly don't know. I really I was kind of hoping, obviously, with last week's game we could have got the win, but wasn't meant to be. But correct me if I'm wrong. Like the Eagles are guaranteed a wild card place, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yes, they're in now. They're done.
Crap. I was kind of hoping that we couldn't. I was kind of hoping we couldn't knock them out, but oh well.
Yeah.
But in saying that, we could actually still put them in the last place of the wild card, and whoever plays them as the second place will probably very much have a more guarantee of beating them out, pretty much. But I don't know. I really don't know. Like, it's in terms of the actual game itself, is it worth? I still think it's worth getting our offense working again. Just try and make those mistakes rectified.
Yeah. It's an awkward one, isn't it? Because it's like 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. It's like you don't want your starters to get injured, but at the same time, they weren't rolling last week. So what are you going to do? Because the last thing you want is playoff rust. But what about you then, Gray? And then I'll finish with our special guest for the week on the field. What do you think about it?
Yeah, it seems like, for me, it seems like an important game. One, it seems to be a get-right game. And also that I feel that, like in the past, the Cowboys they've treated the last game when it wasn't important. They've rested a couple of people. Like, I know Zeke has taken time out. I think Romo took time out as well. And we didn't play well in the playoffs. Despite having that week, we seemed to drop a couple of stitches. So for me, I still think we have to go 100%. I mean, if we have guys out with COVID, that's okay, that's fair. But if you're fit to play against the Eagles, you should play, because Like Paul said, our offense is not firing like it should. So if we can use this as a get right game before the playoffs, that would be amazing.
All right. And yeah, go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
All right. No. So what about you then, James? What's your general feeling on this game? I know, obviously, either way, it's Cowboys football, most importantly. So that's always good. But just what's your general feeling on this Week 18 game going into the playoffs?
I'm bouncing off Graham Wilson. I'm saying 100%. Dallas hasn't made the playoffs in 2 years. Okay. And Dallas has had an up and down season with these playoffs the last 10 years, even with Garrett. Dallas hasn't earned anything to be resting any starters. Yeah. They haven't made the playoffs in 2 years. Okay, so we can't be sitting people down like we've been going to the playoffs every single year and dominating the playoffs. No, they haven't. They need to get right, because guess what? If Dallas comes out there with the one and done, a lot of bad things are going to be going on in Dallas. Okay, so if I'm Mike McCarthy, I know when people say injured, but this is my opinion with that. If you just play the game, them injuries don't be happening, in my opinion. Dallas has been relatively injury-free this whole year. Yep. When you start worrying about injuries, that's when they happen. Now, obviously, if you have somebody like Jaron Kearse, he has some hamstring issues right now. Yeah, I would rest him, because I know what a hammy is. You can't mess that up, and you need him for the playoffs. Absolutely. Certain people that are really hurt, yeah, you want to rest them. But everybody who's able to play, you better play them, and you better play hard, because I don't care. It's the Eagles. It's the last game of the year. Dallas needs to go in there strong, whoever they're playing, because this is the type of team that we have right now that is a Super Bowl type team if they play their game. So there ain't no time to be pulling off no gas and sitting down and chilling. Dallas need to go in there with momentum. They need to go in there strong, because these opportunities, Dak said himself, they're rare.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You just put the nail in the coffin there, James. Well spoken. Right, I think we're all in agreement that we cannot take our foot off the pedal on this. It's
I mean, like I say, although it's a nothing game, it is the point we're trying to make is, although it's a nothing game in terms of what it means for playoff standings, there is obviously issues that you don't want to go into playoff rust. Like you saying, James, if they did do the one and done in the playoffs, people will then go to the sentiment, the argument of, well, why did you not play the players in the last game? Get them up to speed. Because there's certainly an issue at the moment on the offense, which we'll talk about in a very close second. And we'll try and find out what those issues are. So on that nice little segue, should we get into the Dallas Cowboys offense versus the Eagles defense and get this thing rolling?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, let's do it. Okie dokie. Right. Well, before we do that, we just need to first of all go through a very quick injury report and some news. Obviously, big one, Micah Parsons, COVID. Tyrone Smith as well with COVID. So it doesn't look like he will be playing. Anthony Brown, he's gone to COVID reserve as well. On some good news, Keanu Neal is coming off COVID reserve, and Kyron Brown, which is an old flashback name. Some of us were all like, "What the hell is that guy?" But he is returned back to the Cowboys practice squad. James, you said it a little bit earlier. Jaron Kearse is limited. Also on that is Tony Pollard. In some good news, though, Blake Jarwin's back. He was officially given some weeks back his notice to return. So whether he plays, I'm not sure. I think he's going to try and ease him in gently. Then just in some other UK Cowboys news, Matty H won the UK Cowboys Fantasy League, by the way, winning all the leagues. So, yeah, he wins the competition, and his piece of merch that we've said we do, that's on its way. But also in sad news, in the NFL UK Fantasy League, the Cowboys lost in the final to 5 Yard Rush. But there we go.
Don't forget about me.
I know, and You won the creator content. Yeah. So
$180 in my pocket. Yes. Sorry, Brandon. Sorry, Brandon.
It takes the sting out of your American holiday you had this year.
I kind of
it pays for one of your meals that you had out there.
Oh, definitely. Well, after spending when you spend nearly $7,000 for the whole month when you're there for 3 Cowboys games, it's worth it.
Oh yeah, 100%. But okay, the Cowboys offense. So the first thing I wanted to make a note of is really about the Eagles defense, because this is something not many people are talking about. The actual Eagles defense is not playing that bad on a team that's rebuilding, has a whole new coaching staff, and is trying to get back into some sort of rhythm. Their defense right now is doing quite a good job. Going through it, they are 9th in points per game allowed, 11th in passing yards allowed, and 7th in against the running game, against the rush. The Eagles, in fact, only allow averagely this season 20 points per game.
This is something we kind of spoke about in the pregame show for the first Eagles game about their run defense. It seems like they've not actually improved since last time we played them, and that was like what, week 5, week 6, or something.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of what you're seeing now, and I'm sure James will back me up on this one, that the Eagles defense, although they have been really, really good this year, their strength of schedule, the teams they've done it against have been very poor teams. Like virtually nearly any of them don't have a 500 or better record. So it is something to make a note of. But I do feel, based on what the Eagles have done, I think they do deserve a playoff place.
No, they don't.
I mean, they battle back. I think Jalen Hurts is, he's been, he hasn't been lights out, but he's been okay. I mean, they haven't been bad.
Serviceable.
Yeah, he's been serviceable. And I think I for one, I got a friend who named Joe Castro. He has a Philadelphia podcast. I've never hated on Jalen Hurts. I felt like they should keep him and let him grow. I felt he was like a Dak Prescott in a way as far as the leadership and the things he brought off the field, but he wasn't really a polished guy on the field, passer, things of that nature, and he was going to have to grow into it. So that's why I felt like they were kind of the same type of player, in my opinion. But then when I see, even when Dallas played the first time, Philadelphia has a good front. I mean, they have Montez Sweat, they have Fletcher Cox. They still had a good front. They got Slay in free agency. They got Anthony Harris from Minnesota. So it wasn't like they had terrible guys. It's just the fact that you had a rookie head coach. You had a lot of change from going from one regime to the next. So you expect there to be a drop-off. So for the fact that they fought to come in, I'm not like hyping Eagles. I'm just saying for them to get in the playoffs, they beat who they're supposed to be, but you don't look at the Eagles like, oh, that's going to be a team that's going to do something this year. You don't look at a team like that. But you also don't go in there slipping on them in them playoffs because that could be one of those upset losses if you play against them.
It's just something when I was going through it statistically, when you look at it, the defense, it hasn't done that bad across the board, like in a general form, and the issue that we've got at the moment is we've got an Eagles defense that is ticking along nicely and coming up, and you've got a Cowboys offense that is cooling off. So it's almost like one is waving up and one is waving down, and they're going to meet in the middle somewhere. But I want to get your guys' opinions, and I'll start with you, James, because we've given ours on this show over the last few weeks quite a lot, is the Dak issue. A lot of people are saying, what from the start of the season or the first half of the season till now, the back end, although we've had some success, generally, especially in that Cardinals game, it seems to have flattened off, and there seems to be less intensity. There seems to be. I know defenses have figured Dak out in the system, which a lot of teams are playing this cover 2 shell. You've seen a lot of that. a lot of in the pre-snap changes going on. So they'll show one and then change to another. What do you feel is the biggest issue right now for the Cowboys offense?
Oh, well, you guys been talking about, I've been talking about it hot and heavy as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I did a little breakdown video on Dak and the offense. And I just feel like one of the things that, I mean, they both go hand in hand. I feel like when you look at the play calls, when they drop into the coverage, either Dak has to make the right call when he's changing the audible, or the right call has to go on the field, because too many times, especially in that Cardinals game, I mean, there'll be 3 wide receivers going out, but there's 7 covering. That's not helping your quarterback. You're not completing the passes when you have only 3 guys going out, but you have a shell of 7 guys covering over them. That's a bracket.
Yes.
There's nowhere for your quarterback to throw but to always check down. That's a problem that I don't like, because there's so much check down. There's not any kind of explosiveness anymore. Going deep. Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, it's just, there's no explosiveness. It's always quick to check down, quick to look to the underneath, and that's what teams are seeing. So they're playing it now. So they're seeing how we're doing that a lot. So now the teams are sitting there and jumping the route. So they're sitting there thinking like, we're doing all these comeback routes. They're sitting 5 to 7 yards, and they're sitting right where in the middle where Dak likes to throw that ball. And that's why you saw a lot of tip passes in that Arizona game, because they're seeing exactly where they're going. Arizona's coaches really studied the Cowboys very well and knew what the Cowboys were going to do. So that's what kind of got me frustrated, is how would they know that easily? Just when you saw the Buda Baker play, when Dak threw the screenplay and Buda Baker almost intercepted it. I had George Teague on the show yesterday. He said that should not be happening, that guys can identify that quickly when you go into a lineup. This is what they're going to do. So the play calling in that aspect can't be, I don't want to hear the vanilla stuff, because this is week 16, week 17. Can't be no vanilla right now. It needs to be all 100% hand, foot on the gas, not vanilla offense. And then Dak is missing receivers. I mean, it's just what it is. I'm a Dak guy to the day I die, but still got to get better. He's missing throws. He missed it in the Arizona game. He's missed it in other games. And to me, he's missing explosive throws. I saw at least 3 plays where he had Now, it was going to be a big money throw, fellas. It was going to be a big money throw. But you're getting paid like a big money quarterback, right? So you got to take those chances, and you got to hit that, because if you keep on checking down underneath, this defense is going to keep on sitting on those routes. You saw how they were disguised. They're going to keep coming to the line of scrimmage and bailing and jumping in coverage, and they're going to say, until you beat this, we're going to keep doing this. And that's the way the NFL is. They're not going to change those defenses until he shows he can beat it, or he shows he's going to attack them deep. And then once they start getting that ball deep in those little holes of the zone, and we're getting 15 to 17 and 20-yard pass plays, that's when they'll start changing up. Then we see what the run game. But my last thing on this, I feel like Kellen Moore has become more of a finesse offense. And because now it's become more of a finesse offense, I feel like it's taken over the offensive line, and that's why it's not physical, and that's why the run game has suffered, because Dallas is not a physical team any longer. To me, it's a finesse team. And when teams come in and want to get real physical with Dallas, they do it, and they accomplish it, and they win up front.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot can be said as well. I don't know which way round you look at it, but the way I'm looking at it is you've seen a lot of this cover 2, and a lot of, as you were saying, a lot of the defensive backs squatting on the routes, waiting for it, because they know they're going to check down. But I feel that the defenses are doing this because they're not threatened by our run game. So, it's like, well, go for a run if you want, because at the moment, we don't feel that that's part of your game. Do you feel that that's something that is happening, and that is down to the offensive line not getting pushed and being aggressive enough physique to hit holes? Or do you think there's reasons behind it, with, like you say, with it being a finesse offense is the issue of it?
I think that's both of those things that you just said going hand in hand.
Exist.
I mean, look at it. I like Tyler Biadasz, but he's not a physical offensive center. Oh, he's not.
Yeah.
Connor Williams,
agree.
He's had a career, but he's not a physical left guard. Okay. Tyron Smith, he's older. He's not the Tyron Smith of 24. He's not that guy anymore. And I don't care. I love Zach Morton. I love Zach Morton. He's 31 years old now. He's not having his career year. I've seen games where he's getting beat up front. And then La'el Collins, he's still coming back. But I feel like some of that athletic ability has been zapped from that hip surgery and things of that nature. Because when you see people rush on him, he can't really squat and move that bottom half. Him and Tyron Smith are both having problems with that. If you really watch them, they're top heavy and they get their hands on you. But if you can wiggle and get that body underneath them, you get past them, and you see it a lot. And Dak's got to slide in that pocket. So I think, I don't think the line is as physical. And I think teams know that. And like I said, when teams come in there with that mind frame, like Denver and them did, they said, we're going to beat these guys up front. They start getting one or two plays where they stop us and their defense is jumping up and down. It's like we immediately abandon it. It's like we get scared because that defense is jumping up and down and like, you ain't getting no yards. Next thing I know, I start seeing all kind of pass plays. That's what gets frustrating to me because you abandon it quickly. Second half, 2 rushes. Second half against the Cardinals, 2 rushes to Ezekiel Elliott, 1 for 1 yard and 1 for a negative yard. And when the one play he could have had, La'el Collins whiffed on the block. Isaiah Simmons blew him up, and then from that on, they went to passing. Tony Pollard didn't even see a rush, and I don't want to hear that vanilla. Well, we're going to hold Tony Pollard for the playoffs. Why? You needed that game against Arizona because that was a mind thing, too. That was a mind thing because everybody was sitting back. I don't know about y'all, but we were looking at that Washington game like, we look good. But
we're back.
Yeah. Now, I wasn't saying we was bad. I was like, that's Washington, though. I want to see us do this against Arizona because if we lighten dropping 40 on Arizona, then I'm like, okay. But then if we play like that, barely scoring points until the end, I'm like, man, is this the same old Cowboys?
Yeah, because in Arizona in the third quarter, I made a note of it and commented that until the last 2 minutes of the third quarter, the Cowboys were on 1 yard of offense total.
It's just not good enough.
It's wild. I know that's a lot down to Arizona just taking they're stifling the game, which is what they were trying to do. But I mean, it says a lot about.
But we was moving the ball. You feel me, Mike? We was. You feel me, Graham? You feel me, Paul? We was moving the ball, and as bad as Dallas played, they still could have beat the Arizona Cardinals. Like they were. The first couple drives they moved the ball. It wasn't like they were stopping Dallas. Dallas was stopping themselves with 10 penalties. You had 4 offensive lineman penalties that were 3 of them were for first downs, and they got taken back. That stalls things and that hurts things. So Dallas is shooting itself in the foot. It's not really, to me, was the Arizona defense. It was Dallas beating themselves. And then when Dallas drove all the way down the field, Dak had Amari Cooper open. He overthrew him. That was an easy play. You could have went in for a touchdown. Then your field goal kicker misses. So when you have a 14-play drive, come with no points, that starts going in the head. And when they come back down and score, then now you start feeling the pressure of we got to score quick. You get what I'm saying? Then I feel like it snowballs, man.
Yeah. Because go on, Paul.
It just seems like whenever we're in that we seem to get that little bit of desperation in mind, and we just completely forget our base plays. Like we just try and do something more drastic, and pretty much shoots us in the foot almost. And from what we saw in that Arizona game, it's cost us.
Yeah,
I'm just sitting back here listening to this sweet jazz, this classical music in my ear from Big G. We need to get James on this show more often, everybody.
There was a time when Big James used to be a part of the furniture around here.
James just knocked it right out the park. I couldn't have said it better. It's great to have other content. Other Cowboys content creators come on this show and say exactly the same thing that a lot of us have been saying for a long time. You're seeing quick passes. You're seeing end arounds. Dak isn't getting 3 seconds to throw the ball. It's all there, and it's all bearing down on us right now.
I just want to add on top, like what you said about the O-line, James, that is, to me, is the pinnacle point. I thought when you really break it down by Adish, not physical, you're talking about the multiple injuries that Smith's had over the years, and now Collins, like they're not the same players, like potentially, like even the whole experiment with McGovern switching in with Connor Williams. It's like we it seems to be like we don't even necessarily know who our best O-line is.
No.
If there's any saving grace, is Terrence Steele, and that's saying something. Like I don't know about you guys, but since last year, he's probably been the most improved offensive lineman in our Cowboys.
I agree.
Yeah, I would say he's the most improved player on the roster.
And he's on the bench. He's playing now because Tyron Smith, but he went to the bench, and that's what's frustrating. He was playing some of his best football because I was like Terrence Steele in the preseason. I was like, oh boy, here we go. And he came out and worked his butt, man. I mean, he's been lights out, and he's been physical. That's what I really liked about him. He's been physical. If you look at a lot of our runs when he was in the game, a lot of the big runs were on Terrence Steele's side. So that's where you're missing the element of the run game because you took a guy off there because La'el Collins, let's keep it real, dog. He getting paid $9-10 million a year. That's why he went back starting that right tackle. That is why. Because if he wasn't making that kind of money, you ain't putting him in there because he wasn't playing better than Terrence Steele at that right tackle. It's just what it is. And people don't want to talk about that, but that's just what it is. So now you had to trying to figure it out. But for me, I'm going to just tell y'all this one thing, and I don't know if y'all had ever talked about it, but my guy, Boss Cowboys, and them, they had been beating the drum about La'el Collins going back to left guard, beating it. And I'm like, man,
I don't see why they don't.
And when I think about when I just always would sit back and think, right, Terrence Steele's playing good at right tackle. And La'el Collins doesn't have that agility like Terrence Steele does now. So why aren't you putting him at the left guard spot where he can use his physicality and doesn't have to worry about moving and dealing with defensive ends?
And that's where he played in college. That's where he played in college.
His best year in the NFL. His best year in the NFL was at left guard. He only had 22 pressures, and he gave up 0 sacks.
Yeah. And he played left guard in college.
I don't know. I mean, it's right there. I don't want to get physical. There it is.
I literally do not need to say any more on that issue. James just not out the park. Literally, I've been saying this for weeks about why couldn't we not just move Collins back inside? Because obviously we had the issue with pass pressures for against McGovern and obviously Connor Williams. But whereas La'el Collins, he's a much more bigger physical guy. It's going to be harder to force him back. And let's be honest, he is an actual monster of a boy. He is much bigger, superior. He
bulky.
He could probably stuff a lot more defensive tackles, a lot more effective than Because when you look at him, you could probably when you're talking about the whole finessing stuff as well. If you were to classify McGovern and Williams, they're more you could probably say they can be pulling guards or whatever that because they've got the more speed to move upfield if they're depending on what the blocking scheme is. But when it comes to downright hard nose offensive guards, smashing mouth or defensive tackles or inside defensive linemen, Collins can do that. And we saw that, and like you just said, in this early part of this career for the Dallas Cowboys, he was phenomenal at it.
He is a good offensive lineman. You know, you can't forget that, and it is crazy because when you think, like you say, James Steele, he goes over there. They're essentially, mind you, both undrafted free agents because they are. Although Collins is only there for reasons that we're not going to talk about, but the only reason I see why they won't make that move is coaching pride, because that means Kellen Moore is wrong. It means
what it is.
I made a wrong move.
It's pride, and they've been shuffling that offensive line, but everybody's been chirping, "Oh, you better change that back." So they're like, "Okay, let's change it back right." But man, it is pride because, like I said, my guys, Boss Cowboy, shout out to the OC. They have been beating this drum.
Yep.
I had never said no, but I was just like, they ain't gonna never do it, so I don't want to ever entertain it because they ain't making the change. So I don't even want to talk about it because they're not gonna do it because, like y'all just said, that pride is getting in the way. Because to me, we just saw it. Terrence still ain't a bad left tackle, but he's a right tackle.
Steele's
a right tackle, and they keep trying to flex him and move him over because you got Tyron Smith.
Make that swing tackle.
No, he's not no daggone swing left tackle. He's a right tackle. Put him where he is great. Put him at where he can really be great, and then slide you. If y'all talking about putting the best people in their positions to play, the
best 5.
Then why ain't the best 5 on there? Because right now, in my opinion, the best 5 is not on that field on that offensive line.
Agree. Agree.
You would say you've got some of the best players that might be out of the wrong position in the terms of the line. Sometimes, like I still even think like you could even argue, sick the whole Conor McGovern. Why was he not being brought up to be the center where he did for the mass majority of his college career? There's that argument as well.
Listen, we did it one day. Check this out, Graham. Listen to this. One day we did a lineup, fantasy lineup. What we would love to fantasy see in that lineup. We put Conor McGovern at center, and the main reason why because he has played center, but he's more physical than Biadasz. I feel like at the point of attack, if Conor McGovern was at center, at the point of attack, you're not moving him. Okay, and then. On the left guard, we had La'el Collins, Zach Martin, Terrence Steele, and Tyron Smith. We felt like if you did that lineup right there and you had that all year, I feel like you saw some physicality all year if you did something like that. But it's like, nope, we paid La'el Collins to play right tackle, so we just going to keep him there. Man, come on, man. You know daggone well, you just seen Terrence Steele. Jerry Jones been like, Terrence Steele needs to play. Terrence Steele, if y'all know this, and then why y'all keep on trying to play the experiment, man? This is the playoffs about to start, and we trying to get a Super Bowl. You put all the defensive players in the right positions, right? Then do it with the offense, too. We need this offense, fellas. We've been waiting forever to finally get a defense. We've been waiting forever to finally get a defense. Now I feel like our defense can compete with an Aaron Rodgers or a Tom Brady in the playoff because we got the guys. Now we just need to hone this offense, and we can't be going in there playing games, man. They need to figure that offense out right there and now.
It's like we can never get it right.
It's literally what you just said. It's like we've been dying for this defense. It's like if you're putting all the jigsaw pieces together to finally putting that final piece of the jigsaw, and you really think you're just about to have that complete puzzle, then the offense just completely cramples it back down a couple of notches again, and you're going to have to say, oh no, I need to reorganize it again to try and get it going again. That's what it feels like. It feels like the Cowboys is this forever jigsaw puzzle. Like we're almost there, but not quite yet.
So the NFL website has the Cowboys as the 10th rushing attack, 10th in the league. When was the last time the Cowboys were lower in that kind of position? The Cowboys have always been a run-first team. The reason, the offensive line isn't there anymore. The holes aren't there. The opportunities for Zeke aren't there, and it's suffering.
It's actually it's actually worn out on Zeke as well with the amount of hits he's been taking as shown this year.
And especially, I think last season, I think took a toll. We're seeing the echo of that this year, Yeah. But I mean, here's the biggest problem for me on the offensive line, because a lot of people, talking about Zeke, go, well, look at his yards. The issue is we rely on Zeke on third down. We go, okay, give it to Zeke. He's one of our best players. He's always getting his first downs. And I don't really care with running back so much about the yards. It's about how many first downs is he getting? Is he getting first downs? Yeah, give your player the ball and get the first down. That's what's most important for me for a running back. But here's the problem, is we do that, and that's when we seem to get a holding call from the offensive line. The amount of holding calls that happen on third down that negate, and it happened, just to highlight it, in the last game against the Cardinals. Zeke goes on his longest run of the game, a 20-yard run, pull back for Connor Williams holding call.
How many times have we heard that this season?
James brought it up. They are momentum killers.
They are.
It goes from a 20-yard run by Zeke to a 10-yard penalty. That's a third. That's almost a third of the field in one flag. Exactly,
and you go from something as simple as 3rd and 2 to now 3rd and 12.
And you know what the worst part?
It's over. It's done.
You know what the worst part of it all is, mate? From some of the holding calls, it's like this stuff is basics. You shouldn't be holding on to the defensive lineman like that who's already passed you by your hip line. Like,
yeah,
you shouldn't be doing that. Like, it's.
I get there'll be people watching the show thinking, yeah, but there were holding calls missed in the Cardinals as well. That is the Arizona Cardinals. We're here to talk about the Dallas Cowboys and our offensive flags. That's killing our game. Let other teams worry about themselves. We need to fix a few wrongs on the offensive line.
And this just goes back to James's main big point. It's like we shot ourselves in the foot. End of. It's not so much how the Cardinals defense made a big look. We made them look superstars from our own mistakes, pretty much. So
that's what I feel. I didn't look at the Cardinals D like they stopped us, and they had. I think Marcus Golden was out, and he had 11 sacks for the season. He was out, so they only had really Chandler Jones that could coming at rush the passer. And let's keep it real. He gave Tyron Smith fits. You know what I'm saying? He gave Tyron Smith fits, and that was concerning to me. Maybe nobody else was talking about it, but that was concerning to me that he came back in that game and Chandler Jones was after him. And so guess what, fellas? When we play a defense in the playoffs, this is my problem, folks and fellas, that we look at Tyron Smith and some of these guys like, oh, wait till we get Tyron Smith back. Tyron Smith ain't the same guy no more. He's not. I can't see that. So when we play these other teams, these speed rushers, they're going to have to be looking at that because they're getting past Tyron Smith. He's having trouble with speed rushers. So Dak doesn't have, like you said, Graham, he don't have that time in the pocket. So he's getting, to me, more fidgety, and then he's holding the ball too long. And to me, in my opinion, he just doesn't want to make the mistake. So that's why he's always trying to check down, because he doesn't want to put the team in a bad position, because maybe he sees the offense is already struggling, so he doesn't want to make it worse. You know what I mean? But while that's happening, I feel like he's missing open receivers because he's so focused on, I'm just going to make this pass. We got to get this first down, keep this offense. Well, somebody, CeeDee Lamb or Amari Cooper, might have been over top. Might have been a tough throw in that zone. You might have that safety over that top in that corner there, but there's that window in there. You got to throw it, because if you complete that pass, that gets that offense energized. That gets that offense moving. That gets that offense in a roll. And then next thing you know, 2-3 plays later, boom, touchdown, Cowboys right back on it. We've seen it. We've seen it earlier this year when it happens. So it's like, why is it not happening right now when it was happening earlier in the year? But like I said, I just feel like I listened to Brian Broaddus. Y'all done have Brian Broaddus on here mad times, you know, and I was listening to what he was saying. I respect Brian Broaddus and what he says, because he tells the truth, especially since he got away from the Cowboys. He really be telling the truth.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Since he's
got away from the Cowboys, he really telling the truth. You know what I mean?
Ever since
I love it. Thank you, Brian, for leaving them so you can finally tell the truth. Because now, when he was telling me, when he was saying about Kellen, he said Kellen don't have a plan. He said when Kellen Moore comes out with that offense and that defense stops him on plays, he don't have a backup plan. He don't have plays that, okay, they're stopping this one. I'm going to go to these 3 guaranteed plays that I know we can get first downs. He's saying that's how we're getting stopped. And that, to me, is concerning, because has Kellen Moore coached in the playoffs yet, folks? Not as the offensive coordinator. Not as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No.
So, he was the quarterback's coach.
I'm worried about the deer in the headlights. You never coach in the playoffs, and the playoffs is totally different than the regular season. So
there's no way to hide.
I've suggested Mike McCarthy, since you was this so-called offensive mind and guru or whatever you was at in Green Bay, you need to step in there. And if Kellen Moore ain't doing it, I'm taking over the play calling, and I'm running this until we get it right. And if it's not working right now, I'm taking over it in this last game, and I'm gonna take over in the playoffs. And that's what it is. You're gonna sit back and watch.
Yep.
The name of the defensive back escapes me, but I think it was Buda Baker who knew about the quick out to CeeDee Lamb before CeeDee Lamb knew about it, and he jumped the route. He knew exactly what the play was, because Dak feels like he needs to get the ball out, and Kellen Moore, like you said, James, only runs a certain amount of plays. So sooner or later, it's going to be a quick out to CeeDee Lamb, and before you know it, Buda Baker was almost off. I think it was Buda Baker. He was almost off to the races with a pick six. If he comes down with that ball, he's gone. You know, so it's there to be seen.
The only thing I would say about the play calling, and we'll move to the defensive side, is basically with the way that this game is, and with the playoffs being the next game, would you be happy in this game seeing a more basic play calling and no trick plays, just trying to keep your playbook hidden back ready for the playoffs?
If it was me, I would just if we can just try and even get back to smash mouth football, just ram it down their throat. It's none of this finessing what James was saying, which I completely agree. I think we're getting too soft in that line just to accommodate what Kellen's trying to do right now. And it's affecting Dak, it's affecting the O-line, it's even affecting our receivers now. It's completely affecting our offense. If we can just get back to that principle where our O-line can just actually smash defensive linemen, open those gaps up, that will open up the doors for the pass plays and everything else. It's because if you're being finessed and your run game is just not there, then all the focus is going to be on your pass game now. And so, what Juice was saying about for Brown Burns was talking about Kellen Moore, he's got this plan, but he has no backup plan. So if that's the case, what else are we going to do? We need to come up with a base option, and if we can actually, one that's not, we're kind of recommend, the one is obviously go smash them in football, just ram it down their throats. But if that doesn't work, then we're going to have to start thinking about an actual. This is where Kellen really needs to step up as our OC. He really needs to step up in this retrospective. He needs to.
So you're saying don't hide the playbook. Just go for it.
I would.
Yeah. What about you, James? Are you agreement? Or do you want to keep?
I'm not going to show crazy amount of plays. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to show. I'm not going to go nutso because yes, they are watching. So I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm going to have a nice amount of plays where we're going to win this game. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to attack them. The thing I don't want Kellen to do is, since Amari Cooper's been saying, I need the ball. And when we saw when he got the ball in Washington, how effective this offense was better. So I don't want Kellen Moore to be like, okay, this is a so-called meaningless game, so I'm going to give you 20 catches, and then we go in the playoffs, I give you 2. Don't do that. You need to feed this guy. Guess what? We don't have a Michael Gallup now. We lost another explosive player on that offense. So you better get that ball to Amari Cooper. I don't care if, we got to make sure, we don't want to force feed. Yes, you do need a force feed right now because we've seen games, folks, haven't we, since Amari Cooper's been there, when they get that ball to him, our offense goes from here to here. We've seen how explosive our offense gets when Amari starts getting that ball. Our offense starts churning. It starts rolling. We start getting excited. The crowd goes, cool. Everybody gets into it. And guess what? I don't think Cooper's a diva, but he is a alpha as far as the receiver. He knows what he can do. And those top receivers, they don't get the ball early. They start not being in the game.
Yeah.
If you watch all the best receivers, except maybe like a Jerry Rice, but even when Jerry Rice don't start getting the ball, he's going to that huddle like, I need the ball, because if we want to move this ball, you got to give it to me so we can go. It's not about being selfish, like I don't want to be a team player. It's about when you get me the ball, this offense is better. So make sure you make that happen, Kellen Moore. You start with Amari, then you go to CD, because once you start going to Amari, it opens it up for CD. You don't start with Lamb and then open it up for Coop. You start with Cooper and then open it up for everybody else.
Yeah. I totally agree. I just wanted to kind of point out what Joe was saying, and a shout out to Joe and shout out to everyone that's been commenting on the show so far. He's kind of made the point where every game that Cooper's had over 5 catches, we pretty much have won the game. And I tend to agree. It seemed the more production we get from Coop, it's we're seeing that being the influence of that is being fed onto the other players.
It's because where Cooper plays. Yeah, think where Cooper plays. He doesn't play like Lamb. You want to get the ball to him as quickly as possible because he's gonna be that yard after. He's gonna be a yak guy. Cooper's the guy that needs to go downfield.
That's not where I'm getting at. But my point is that because the pressure's off, like Lamb, because
right. Let Coop get that pressure because Coop don't drop the ball. Don't put that on CD because CD ain't ready for it, big dog. Y'all feel me? CD ain't ready for that. I'm not, and it's not saying CD ain't going to be a great player. You get what I'm saying? But Amari sets the tone of the offense because once he starts getting the catches, then, like you just said, Paul, now CD don't feel that pressure. Now he can just kind of play and catch it and run and
Exactly.
because Amari is starting the momentum. We've all seen it, folks. When Amari gets we seen it in 2018, when he was killing the Eagles, what he did to them Packers. Yeah, we lost, but he was killing them. And we saw what our offense was doing. I'm getting excited right now because when Coop start getting that ball, dog, I'll start feeling good. Like, okay, we about to run through you now because you can't stop Coop. It's just he's one of the best receivers in the league.
So in terms of route running, he's surgical.
So I think from a general consensus, what we really hope from this game for the Eagles is that we need to see Coop more before we go into the playoffs.
We see everything more on that.
That is true.
But in terms of just getting the momentum started, it's like if we get the momentum with Coop getting the ball, you could easily see it getting that affected on like Schultz. You can see that in terms of like Lamb and. Well, obviously, Garrett's not going to be playing this game, but you'll even see like Wilson even take the step up when the pressure's been taken on like Cooper, because he'll draw the double coverage anyway. Like he's that right receiver, he's that primary target. If we can do that, it's just like you said there, James. It's just going to open all the doors for everybody else.
And he wants it. That's the difference. He wants the pressure. I want give me the pressure. I'm not scared of it. Give it to me. So why wouldn't you give it to him? He's saying, look, give me the ball. I'll take all the pressure. I'll take all whatever you need to give. I'll take all that. That's what I want. I want our guy to be like that. That I want the ball. I want us to make us better. We need a big third down. Give it to me. I'll get it there. We're in that red zone. Get it to me. I'll score that touchdown for us. I want that mentality right now. He's our number one receiver. Dallas is paying him like the number one receiver. So why is he the third most targeted player on the team behind CeeDee Lamb and Dalton Schultz?
Yeah.
You look around the league. You know, the Rams don't move away from Cooper Kupp. The Packers don't move away from Adams.
Exactly. That's a great point, Graham. Great point.
When Hopkins is fit for the Cardinals, they don't move away from him. Let's use Coop like a
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase.
Cooper Kupp is about to break an NFL record right now next week. If he could get catches and yards, he's about to break an NFL record. I'm not dissing Cooper Kupp, but Cooper Kupp? You feel me? If Cooper Kupp is breaking records, how is Amari not being targeted right now?
I know. And it's actually depressing to say that. Like, because when you look at the whole scheme of things with the Rams and stuff like that, in terms of like where Cooper Kupp came from, like he was a third round draft pick or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, man.
Yep. Definitely wasn't first.
I just heard that laugh in the back.
And one thing I think that will help Coop with Blake Jarwin coming back is the 12-man.
Yes.
I think that is a big help, because especially with where Blake Jarwin he lives on that seam route. Yes. So you send Blake down there, you're pulling safeties away.
Yes.
So you've got one of two things that are going to happen. Coop's going to get all the attention, so that means that seam route for Blake becomes a one-on-one and just a wide open piece of field, or he's going to draw the two safeties, leaving Cooper to just like be as surgical as he wants over there. So I think the 12-man is going to be a big thing. So having Blake, especially for the playoffs, is good timing.
Cheese the fit today. Give the ball to Coop. That's
it. Give it to Coop. Should we go to the defense then, guys?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah, this is the fun part. Right then, okay. Let me get my notes back up. So, the first thing I wanted to come out the gate is Anthony Brown is obviously on COVID reserve. So, I don't know what you guys think. I think this is going to be quite fun to watch Kelvin Joseph. It's taken us to week 18. Now here we are. How confident are you guys against the likes of the Eagles receiver core? I know they've made a mistake again with a certain draft pick of a wide receiver. I know Eagles fans are complaining about that. I say give it time. But how confident are we about Kelvin Joseph going into this game, guys?
It's going to be interesting. I will say that.
I'm quite excited to see him. I'm excited to see him. I want to see what he does.
I think when you take a cornerback in the second round, you expect him to start. So it's going to give us an opportunity to see what we have. Certainly, we got Diggs in the second round, and he's off to the Pro Bowl now. So, if we can give Kelvin Joseph a bit of time, give him a start, a meaningful game, a divisional game, to go and showcase his talents. I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm definitely excited. I want him. I'm on my Twitter like about 5 or 6 weeks ago and said that is this a wash season for him, because Anthony Brown had been playing pretty much like a career year.
Yeah,
Jordan Lewis had been playing a lot better. So it was like, I know Dan Quinn has got a loyalty thing too. So he wasn't just going to remove an Anthony Brown because he was playing well, because Kelvin Joseph, the pressure putting him in there because he was a second round pick. But like you said, Graham, they drafted Trevin Diggs in the second round, and he started A1 day one. I know it was injuries, but he still started, and we felt good about him starting all year. He went against right off the muscle, right? Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf.
That play. Oh my God!
His first 5 games, they threw him to the absolute wolves. You know what I'm saying? But
and he held his own. He held his
right,
own.
and we liked it because that got him to where he's at right now. Right, you see where he's at right now, because I feel like he was already a type of player that could deal with that, and you got to put him against those matchups. To me, Kelvin Joseph against Washington. Me and my guys from the Final Word OC, we were comparing him, not saying this is who he is, but we were making the comparison of Kelvin Joseph to the Darrelle Revis because of the body type, the way he's built, the height, the weight, but he's more athletic than Revis. He's fast, he's more athletic. But when you saw him in that Washington game, man, he was smooth. He was very smooth. Very sticky cover. He's going to be a guy that's going to be opposite of Diggs. Diggs is more of a playmaking corner. You're going to have a Kelvin Joseph who's going to be that shutdown type corner where you're going to have to make really good passes to make plays on him. That's why I want him to play this game. I want him to play against Devontae Smith or Reagor. He needs all that experience that he can get. I talked to George Teague yesterday. I said, man, why can't he start in the playoffs? He said, big game. I can't do that. We ain't go. He said, big game. I ain't doing that. He ain't ready. And I said, okay, you done this. I haven't. So I'm going to have to back off. But in my head, I jumped back out there, y'all, and said, I still want him to start, though. I know, I feel what you just said, George, but I want him to start because Anthony Brown, as good as he's played this year, you're still Anthony Brown. You're still Anthony Brown, and I still don't trust you. You play good, but it's playoffs. I feel like they're going to attack you, and you're scaring me. And Jordan Lewis, you play better, but they still get passes on Jordan Lewis. So I want to see all the best athletic players we can. I know if you jumped out there and started him in playoffs, be like, are you crazy? But to me, I'm not scared because I don't feel like the moment is going to be too big for him. I don't know why I feel that. I don't know why I feel that, fellas. I just feel like the moment's not going to be too big for him. He has been waiting for this moment, and he has the ability to play in this moment. And I think we let this kid loose, man. You drafted him to start for a reason. Let this kid play.
Yeah. And don't forget, because like you say, James, it's the wingspan and the arm length, which is what's prevalent with him. It's just that guy's got reach. But what some people haven't realised, if you go back and watch, he's been doing some special teams work, and that guy has been getting it done as a special teamer, as a gunner.
Very physical.
Like you might not have noticed it, but he's always been in and around, where the ball or where the catcher is or the returner. He's always been there. And I think he's even made a few special team tackles.
And he's feisty. I like that. He feisty. He always getting in a little feistiness. I don't mind that from my corner. I want my corner feisty. I don't want my corner soft. I want my corner all up in your face. Very, very attitude. Very, very aggressive attitude. He has that attitude, and that's what
non-stop
we need in
talking.
That yeah, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that because that's what corner's got to have.
I'm going to add something on top of that. It's very similar to the whole Micah Parsons mentality, see ball, get ball mentality.
Yeah.
And I think with that, we're seeing that a lot. Like, I know we're talking about Kelvin Joseph, but I'm think like with that whole mentality, that's definitely been swung over to a lot of our defensive players this year, like especially on our D line and that as well. But primarily, you're seeing that from Diggs and knock on wood, man. I hope we can see that developer Kelvin Joseph become that shutdown corner, like the better version of what we had of Byron Jones years ago. Playing corner. So
to James's point, I mean, he is a sticky corner, so this might be a good game where you're not going to have Jalen Hurts throwing somebody open.
True,
in my opinion, Jalen Hurts has to see somebody open. So for Joseph to be a stick-on corner, that's going to give him a lot of opportunities to shut somebody down and keep somebody.
Good work.
With that as well, if we can, what you're just saying there, Graham, that will just give Parsons the ability to like be more like, see, like, you know what Hurts is
create
like
cover sacks.
Yeah, like, you know, but you know what Hurts is like in the pocket. He'll try and hold there as much as possible, but see, when he's out there, he's really hard to get to. But that's when Parsons comes into play. He'll be there waiting. He'll be that guy waiting for him to move out the pocket.
Well, I'm glad you went to that, because this is the segue I was going to next is Hurts, and obviously how Hurts and Kyler are very similar. Obviously, we haven't got Micah Parsons. Doesn't look like he's going to be playing. COVID restrictions.
I just realized that.
Yeah. Oh. No, but it's fine, because what is good is, in a lot of ways, Hurts is extremely similar to Kyler Murray, and it does look, with the way things are going, we're going to be facing the Cardinals in the playoffs with how things are looking. You know, there are ways it could go the other way and we face LA, but yeah. The good thing is, for me, what I'm looking at is that you could see this with the way Hurts and Kyler are very similar as this dress rehearsal game for the Cardinals. So when they come back to town, your defense has played a guy very similar to what you're expecting in the playoffs. In fact, Hurts and Kyler's time to throw are both right at the very top. I think it was like 3.2 seconds. It's because they extend plays. They move out the pocket. They move around. They let their receivers play the scramble drill almost and get open that way. I don't know what you guys think, but are you thinking, obviously we don't have Parsons. Do you think this is a good way to look at it, to go into this game as a dress rehearsal for Arizona?
Certainly could be. I mean, I'd like to know who the spy is. I think the spy will be important on Saturday night. Quick point for that, folks. Make sure Saturday night, not Sunday night. Make sure you all tune in Saturday night. It's almost like a kind of carbon copy that we can work on some things before we play Kyler Murray again. It's almost as if they don't see things, they're going to tuck and go. And to play somebody at spy, I think would be a wise move. Just a quick point on Kyler Murray. I don't know if you guys talked about this in the post game. Kyler Murray's ball security really aggravated me. The ball's out here, it's tucked, it's never put away, is it? See, if you watch Murray's run, it's swinging away. So I would love to see a couple of strip sacks on Saturday.
Punch that ball out of there.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, James? Do you feel that this is a nice, the way to look at it, a nice dress rehearsal for the Kyler Murray experience?
It could be. I feel kind of like Kyler Murray and Jalen Hurts are still kind of different. I know Jalen Hurts, he's quick to run.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray, though,
he's totally run.
Kyler Murray, he's just a little bit more dangerous because he can complete those passes, and I think that's the worrisome thing about him. And I don't know how he completes them. Man, he's so daggone little, and you be looking like you have him, and he just wings it in the air, and it's right there. And I'm like, how is this dude completing these passes? He frustrates me. Kyler Murray does. He just frustrates me. But with the Jalen Hurts thing, well, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how they want to defend him. I think that front line can get after him. They're going to have the full complement of guys, and I want to see how this defense plays without Micah Parsons. For real, I'm excited for this opportunity, honestly, because I feel like this defense needs this game without Micah Parsons. I'm going to go on a step further of that, because the defense, let's keep it real, y'all, it's become dependent on Micah Parsons now. You know what I mean? Micah Parsons is the man. Like, he is the man on this defense, being very dependent on him now. So I think it's a perfect opportunity for him to be out this game. The Cowboys defense play very strong without him. because to me, that gives me confidence because I feel like this is a championship type D. But one man to me can't make this a championship D. He can make this thing better. But these guys like DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, Neville Gallimore, they have to step up and say, Micah's not here, but we still can get after the quarterback. We still can put pressure on you. We still can get you in the backfield because remember, Micah played in that game against Philly, but DeMarcus Lawrence didn't play in that game against Philly.
Yeah.
So this is a game where I want to see DeMarcus Lawrence really step up.
Yeah.
So if you had Micah out, I want to see DeMarcus Lawrence step up and have a big game.
The way I see it, because you were saying about how to defend Jalen Hurts. For me, the way to do it is don't try and sack him. Keep him in the pocket.
Yeah. Make him throw.
Make him throw. It's very much the way people started at the end of Colin Kaepernick's career. The same idea. Just keep him in the pocket. Don't try and overrun him. Just keep him there and let him throw, and he'll make the mistake.
He's not the greatest passer right now, so he's gonna throw some interceptions, maybe get some pressure. But like you just said, keep him in that pocket, make him beat you with the pass, make him beat us throwing the ball. Because I don't think Jalen Hurts can beat you all game throwing the ball. I just don't believe that right now at this point in his career.
Yeah. Because that was the thing I was looking at. And going back to what you were saying about Kyler, it's actually 75% of the Cardinals' first downs all came from Kyler Murray scrambling out of the pocket as soon as he was outside and he made the throw. I mean, I think it's just that the guy has crazy athletic ability because he was the same because he was in Texas A&M before he went to Oklahoma, so he's a Texas boy. And even back then, I can remember people saying stories like this Kyler kid is insane athletically. And when he got a huge athletic profile, although he's small, in actual physical size, he was able to make those off-platform throws because of it. And I think that's how he's able to do it. And you've seen it in the NFL. It's crazy stuff.
Is it Luke Gifford taking over, or we got Francis Bernard back?
It's Luke Gifford who will rotate in. Yeah.
It's pretty thin.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, linebacker. It's funny. At one point we were going, man, look at all the depth. Look at all the depth at linebacker. No, yeah, we're going. That's thin. Because the next
losing
question.
Jabril Cox. Oh my gosh.
I know that was
hurts my soul right now.
Yeah.
Do you know how good he would be right now?
Oh man! Do you know? And what's funny is, like at the time when Cox and they said, "Oh, he's out for the season ACL," I kind of went, what a bummer." That's
not bad because I'm like, man, we just saw that tiny glimpse of him, and I'm like, wow,
especially on the goal line.
Yes, I'm like that size. We already knew the coverage ability. The only thing I was ever suspect with Jabril Cox because when I watched him at LSU and even when he was at North Dakota State or South Dakota State, one of the two.
Yeah, he was at NDS.
He wasn't he wasn't a physical tackler. He would not want to get in the mix of the tackling. That was the main thing concerning about him because I'm like, bro, you got to tackle in the NFL, so you got to come and stick your nose in there. But he was getting better with it. The more playing time he was getting, and just to see, man, if we could have had him right now in this coverage hole.
Yeah. He is the future of the NFL.
Oh my gosh, he is the future because you can play safe. You can put him in so many spots like Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
You get fellas, we get one more linebacker that's a fast, pretty good sized linebacker to pair with Micah and Cox.
Jabril. Yeah.
My goodness, folks.
Yeah. I say like that, the old type linebackers, the thumpers, we've moved past that. Now it's those speedy and those fast linebackers. That's the future. And the Cowboys have jumped on that quickly by getting Jabril Cox,
Yes, that was
Sorry, Mike, I just want to jump in here and ask.
Jump in.
James, where do you have Van Der Esch right now? Are you renegotiating? Are you waiting to the end of the season?
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Enough.
Yeah, he's gonna have to take a team friendly deal, and he's not. Van Der Esch is gonna have a market, and he's not going to come back to Dallas on some team-friendly deal. I mean, if I'm him, I wouldn't either. It's just like with Cheeto. You know what I mean? I thought Cheeto could come back with a team-friendly deal.
Yeah,
then the Bengals jumped right out there and offered him some money. What happened? He left, and I feel like that's what LVE is going to have happen with him too. I think the Cowboys will offer some, but they're not going to break the bank. They're going to say, we got Jabril Cox coming back. We still have Micah. We're probably going to draft again. We got young guys, so we're not going to jump out there and sign you a linebacker already to a lot of money, and you just got cut. You cut Jalen Smith because of money issues, you know, and at the end of the day. So I don't think that's going to happen. I like LVE. I thought he's gotten better, but I just feel like this is the last we've seen of LVE.
Yeah, like it seems to be the last few years been bad. The first half of the season has been bad. Now all of a sudden he seems to have turned it on. In fact, I would say
his contract year, you got to turn it on.
Oh yeah.
You got to get money.
I would say the Washington game, he was on fire. That was his best game I've seen him play in a while.
We got to remember, we know these guys might love football or whatever. This is a business. So when them dudes is out there playing, sometimes when they like trying to get 12 sacks, it ain't just for the Dallas Cowboys. It might be for my next contract. So I need to make sure I'm here at every play because you're auditioning. If you're playing in your contract year, you're auditioning not for just the Cowboys. You're auditioning for 31 other teams. So you have to play good football because if the Cowboys and they don't give you the money you want, you got to be able to go somewhere and get paid. So you got to show yourself worthy of getting that contract.
Yeah, show them good tape. Yeah.
I will say this: if LVE does go somewhere else, I don't think it'll be a team like it will pay more higher taxes. That's for sure.
I tell you where he'll go. He'll go where all ex-Cowboys players go, in Vegas.
Nah, probably.
Because that's where Schultz is going to go as well.
Or he might. I can see. You know who I can see LVE going to? The Bengals, like Cheeto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see LVE going to Bengals because they don't have strong linebackers over there, and he's young enough. I could see LVE going over to the Bengals.
Yeah,
that's
a first shout.
I really do hope they sign Dalton Schultz back, not just because he's a good player, but I'm just sick of the Cowboys organization drafting tight ends, getting them up to speed to the NFL, and then releasing them into the league. It's all we seem to do.
Let me ask you this.
Every time.
Would you pay him $12 million a year? Because that's his value right now. His value right now is 12. See, I heard you say that now. I want to jump in and play some devil's advocate because I know Blake Jarwin.
What's the cap going up to again?
I know it's going up, but are you going to have two tight ends on your? It's going up to $203 million. But are you going to have two tight ends on your roster? What's going to happen? Because I know Blake Jarwin's been injured in his contract. He signed a 4-year, $22 million deal. It's not crazy, but Dalton Schultz value is right now at $12 million. You going to sign him to $12 million?
And Randy Gregory.
Yeah, right. Randy Gregory. He's a done deal.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one. Since you're on the defensive side, I'm making Randy Gregory my priority. Schultz is next. I think Gallup is going to be the awkward one, and because he's
you could
beloved
probably
by
get
the
that,
fans.
but you might be able to get Gallup back now
on the injury.
He got injured.
Yes,
because it might be the blessing in disguise because he's not going to have a high market because it's week 16 and he injured the ACL. He's not going to be ready no time soon in the season. He's going to be not ready till mid-season. So ain't no team going to take no chance on him. So it could be a blessing in disguise. Cowboys sign him to a small deal. For faithful, we love you, Gallup. We're going to give you this money. Then when you get back, maybe after a couple of years, then you can see where you're at from that point. I think that would work out better, and I don't want to lose Gallup, and I think this is the way that you are able to keep him by that injury.
Yeah, I do like that triple-headed monster with the wide receivers. So my last question then. My almost my last question because of the final one, which is the score. But Curse could possibly not play. What are you guys looking at the safety position? Malik Hooker, he's on his way up. He's coming in quite nicely. What are you guys thinking that they're going to do with the safety position, basically?
I don't know. I'm a defensive lineman, guys. So how the hell I know?
Are you talking about starting in the game or just like in the future?
No. Just for this game without Curse.
I mean, Malik Hooker, play him. But I also heard in the news that Donovan Wilson and Trevin Diggs are under the weather. They didn't practice today due to illness because they were saying that people are under the weather. So that's something that you're going to have to monitor because of the Donovan Wilson thing. Because Donovan Wilson has come back. But if you got KZ and Hooker, roll with it. And hey, activate the young guy. I know you ain't going to play him a lot, but if the game is like you're not using a lot of players, let Mukamu play some.
Oh, yeah.
I've been waiting for Izzy. I wrote a piece on Israel Mukamu at the start of the season to say, like, watch out for this guy. It's just been unfortunate that I do something like that and he doesn't play.
Mike, just to add in this as well, what you just mentioned, like the Diggs and what Donovan Wilson, they both take COVID tests and they did turn up as negative, so it's not COVID related. So.
A general illness then.
That's good.
Down to that. Yeah, that is good news. But I asked the question because I actually feel Malik Hooker over the last few weeks seems to be getting up to speed, and we're not seeing a first round Malik Hooker because that would be insane, but we're starting to see an old Malik Hooker starting to resurface, and I think coming into the playoffs,
I've seen flashes of him for sure. Like he's made some really good plays, breaking up passes and stuff like that, making some really good hits, especially. I mean, but you're right. Like if we were to ever get that blue chip version of Malik Hooker that he was first drafted by the Colts, that would have been amazing. But he seems to be, I think, is more like just really getting to the vibe of how Dan Quinn wants this defense to operate, and I think it suits Hooker, but at the same time he's not having to go beyond and make plays every single time type of thing, because when you've got like a Diggs doing that as well, like all across the board. So I think for what he's doing, I think he's doing a great job so far.
Because you got to know Malik Hooker, he's another ball hawk.
Yeah. I'd like to see him get an opportunity before the playoffs. Yes. Give him an opportunity to come in, start, play the whole game, throw his hat into the reckoning to be in that starting defense as soon as it hits the playoffs, because he's an experienced player. He's been around the league. I think this is his 5th or his 6th season. So he's not a rookie. You can put him in there. He will know the playbook by now. So. Throw him in because there's going to be a lot of scrambling around, a lot of cool heads needed. So if they can get Hooker in there, get him more game time.
Because we were excited. We talked about it on the show about the signing.
Yeah, this is his 5th season in the NFL.
Yeah.
I'm definitely with that. I like we all have been talking about Malik Hooker from afar. Malik Hooker, he can be in the open market. Malik Hooker, and he finally came over to Dallas. I think the exciting thing with Malik Hooker with me, he's been playing healthy. That's the biggest thing. Important. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that's been with me, is that he has been able to stay healthy. I think that's what everybody was worried about, was his health. And the more he's got his feet under him and be able to get more playing time, we're seeing him being more of an explosive player. I think that's what I've noticed about him. He's more explosive the last few games. And so, let's start him. KZ, float with them. Maybe, like I said, throw in Mukamu. And, if Wilson is able to go through, and because there's no COVID, definitely, because I like Wilson coming in as that thumper too. He can play that curse role.
Down to the box,
You can slide Wilson up in there, because Wilson's like to get real physical. So you can still play a sort of a big nickel, because you got enough safeties that you can rotate in there. So let's
Which
go,
is crazy
man.
to say at Dallas.
But that's a great thing, man. I think that's one of the reasons why we're excited about this defense is the depth. Because before we saw the Dallas Cowboys, if one player got injured, we're like, that season's over. That defense is done. 2 players got hurt. Season over. That's the way we was feeling. You know what I mean? And now we finally got the depth. And we saw when DeMarcus Lawrence went out. We saw when Neville Gallimore went out. And we saw different players going out with
Gregory out.
COVID issues. Guys that just soon one go out, another guy come right in, and it seems like the defense has not missed a beat, and that's the exciting thing for me.
What was the one thing that you were hoping for, Mike, last time we spoke for the start of the season? Was one guy in particular, if he was to get any game time, is Mr. Dorrance Armstrong. Like that was one guy. Like whenever he came in, when someone was injured, we always kind of say, "Is this going to be him? Is this him going to be coming out and stuff like that?" And it seems like any time that Dorrance has actually been on the field when we really needed him the most, he's been there. So it's like when you come talk about like to depth, we always kind of question that. It's like previously before, players that made the team last year never really like did
took
much.
They
never took it for granted, but it seems like this year it's just completely different. Every player has just like got that mentality now. Like there's no more hot
that's
boys.
Down to coaching.
Exactly.
That's down
you hit that nail right there. Coaching.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. And I keep saying this, like especially for me as a defensive lineman guy, a lot of credit is down to Adam Durd as well.
Yes.
Yeah. You cannot go wrong there.
Fantastic job. Like he has brought a whole different perspective mentality, and there's no hot boys, there's none of this, there's no bravado in the D line anymore. They're just in there to do their job and work their butts off and get in there and just get the win.
And get them playing for each other.
Exactly. And there's no more like showing off merchandise, whatever. Like it was cool at the time, I thought it was all fun and games, but now it's like no, like get that out of the way. Let's just focus on football, and that's what we're doing, and we're seeing the fruits of that labor now. Like when you look at the defensive stats, it speaks for itself now, and
especially when you look at it this year in comparison to last year.
Yeah, and it says, and it goes to what James was saying. It's like, we've been dying for this type of defense for God knows how long now. And now we've got a defense where it doesn't matter if one person goes out, someone will always come in and still do a great job. What more can you want? You know?
I tell you what I want. Do you know what I want?
A Super Bowl.
Well, yeah. But in terms of with the defense, I want Dan Quinn back next year.
Yes. Yeah. We need to like keep him.
I think if he signs as a head coach somewhere, like, I don't think it'll be the Jags because they would have found their head coach before all of this. Yeah. But if he goes somewhere else, but that show that week that we do, I will have like red eyes with little tears in. I'd be quite upset.
Hopefully,
I'd be down.
Hopefully he just wants to be a playoff coach for a while and not because if he's going to a brand new team, he's going to a completely new project. And he's not going to be near the playoffs, you would presume. So maybe he just wants to enjoy a bit of success for a while.
I hope he's listened to our show and he's listened to us talk about Garrett, that there are some people in this world that are fantastic offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators, but they're not necessarily good head coaches. And they'll dip their toes into that pool, realize that it's not, and then go back to what they originally were and realize that's their calling card. And I hope that's what Dan Quinn is thinking.
I hope so too, because I know people are going to continue to reach out to him because, see, here's the thing. I think the reason why people reach out to him because he is a player's coach and players love playing for him.
Oh, yeah.
And he can command a locker room, and that's very hard to do in the NFL because there's a lot of alpha males in there. You got to be an alpha male for them to really believe in you, and I think that's what it is. But like you just said, Mike, sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes you might go somewhere else and be good for a couple of years, but then it falls off again. I think his enthusiasm and it wears on you as a head coach. That's why I feel like you should just be the defensive coordinator because you can just sit there and focus on one thing. Yeah, be fiery and put all your heart and soul and mind and energy into it and let that energy, and you don't have to worry about all that pressure of everything else. Yeah, that's why you just said, Dan Quinn, listen to yourself, Dan Quinn. You said, I'm having that ball over here, the happiest time of my life. I love this group. Don't leave the love.
No, and he's doing it, and also he's doing what he's good at.
I'm gonna give you
stay with the love.
I'm gonna
love you.
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you guys an prime example. Right.
Oh man, I love it.
So, right.
Yeah. Sorry, he's big game had me then.
Wade Phillips, prime example.
Yeah.
Yeah, a great example.
like Wade Phillips, he's had a couple of times being an NFL coach, like obviously with the Cowboys. He's obviously been with the Bills, but he seems to have had more success as a defensive coordinator. I mean,
that's how he won a Super Bowl. He won a
Exactly.
Super Bowl
I
as a
don't even-
DC.
I don't even think he's won a playoff game yet. I don't think you can check. I don't think.
Wade Phillips won a Super Bowl as a defensive coordinator, but not as a head coach.
A head coach. I don't even think he won a playoff game as a head coach.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So that just tells you right there. Yep. Stay the defense. Wherever you go at defense, you make it work. So that's your thing, big dog. Dan Quinn, that's your thing, big dog. Just stay there and be great. I was saying on my show, you could create a legacy here in Dallas and go down in history, dog. You stay here and make this defense great every single year. You know what kind of a legacy in Dallas. This ain't the Buffalo Bills or the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is the Dallas Cowboys. You make a mark like that because we remember Doomsday defense. We remember that defense in the 90s. There ain't been nothing to scream about defense for Dallas in the 2000s. So make a mark now.
And you know as well, that I'll let you speak now, Paul, but going off that, and you see it every time with even Jason Garrett, you can do it with Kellen Moore, that one thing Jerry Jones, he will do is he will make sure he takes care of his coaches. He's completely loyal, and the money he will throw at the coaches. You've seen it time and time again with him. He will do that.
I was just going to say, it's like if I was to like for example, Pete State myself, like I would never want to be anything more beyond a defensive lineman coach. That's all I'm saying. Like, because I know what I want to do. You know, like having that extra responsibility as a defensive coordinator and knowing all the different schemes and stuff. I'm like, no, like let me stick to what I want to do. Like as long as I can do the A gap, B gap, and make sure like my edge rushers that they know to go inside or outside or bull rush. That's fine by me. But when it comes to anything else, what linebackers supposed to do, nah, screw that. Let me stick to what I know. So,
but exactly.
That kind of goes back to what James was saying. It's like stick to what you know.
Reiterating the point. Yeah, exactly. That's what you love. That's what you know. Stick to it if you're good at it. Because going back again to Jason Garrett, people will complain, and I know saying his name at Dallas is almost like swearing. But what you got to remember is, Jason Garrett as an offensive coordinator for us was really good. You can't deny it.
Yeah.
He was a great offensive coordinator. But here we go then, guys. I'll give you your last question and we'll wrap things up here. And I'll let Graham take the reins for the first answer. What's your score prediction for this final game of the regular season?
Before you say that, Graham, guys, get your comments in quickly. Last chance.
Yep.
Yeah, give us your score predictions at home.
Oh,
okay. So we've got a couple of holes on defense, and we want a get right game on offense. So I'm going to go 32-24 Cowboys.
Okay.
Ooh, nice offense.
Yeah, I like that. Get it back on track. All right, Paul, what are you going for?
Well, as you can see, Joe has went for 35-21. Andy's went for 23-20. Austin's went 13-3.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 17-10.
All right, then. All right, big game. Let you have the honors, the final score.
See, Paul must be in my brain because he said 17-10. I'm gonna say 20-13.
Oh, so you're going to 3 points.
Yeah, I see what you did there. Just the one extra. Just the one up. The one up.
But here's the thing, though. It's Greg the leg. Come on, what the hell? There's one game he needs to fix. He needs to fix his kicking for this game for sure.
What's the weather going to be like in Philly? Is it going to be a ground and pound type game?
Yeah, it'll be cold.
Be cold as heck.
Yeah.
But, if it's cold, then I want Dak to throw the ball because I don't know if he's the greatest in cold weather. So I want to see him throw that ball in cold weather because you never know. If Dallas beats them Cardinals, you're going to Green Bay.
Yeah, you're up in Lambeau.
And we don't know what that Green Bay is going to be cold.
It don't get no colder than it does up there.
It's going to be, this is in Celsius, -4 at night.
Ooh, that's cold. That's cold.
That's in Celsius.
That's real cold.
So between
-4?
Between 1 and -4 in terms of Celsius. So that in Fahrenheit.
You got to do. Come on now, you got to do this in American money, Paul.
Yeah. There'll be 33 in Fahrenheit.
That's still cold.
Yeah, that's still cold. Because when you said that first number, I was like, okay, hold up. No.
We do.
-4 Fahrenheit is like Arctic weather.
That's the Canadian mountains weather.
I think it's like like that on the Arctic Circle.
Right. And I'm like, playing polar bears?
I'm saying that, I just saying that, have Washington got any more benches they can borrow for Lambeau?
Yeah, because they don't need them anymore.
No, well, no, wait. Washington do need those benches to prop up this stadium from falling down.
Yeah.
Not just that. Not just that.
That's okay. I'll take that because that's my most hated team. So give all that Washington.
Oh no, don't worry. I'm going to go up a step further than that, James. Honestly, so as you may know, Washington are going to be announcing their new name. So I've came up with a couple of suggestions for the past couple of weeks. So we've got one, the Washington Scandalists, obviously with the whole John Gruden thing. Right. We've also got the Washington Copycats for the benches and stuff like that. You could also call them the Washington Benchies because that's what they're good for. So, or the I don't know, the Washington Spillages, like for the stadium.
I like did you not see Scandals because they got a whole bunch of scandals. Washington Scandals is perfect for them. Let's push that, Paul.
It's still going on.
The Scandals,
it's still going on.
Yeah. And it's still going on.
3 years. So let's push that. Washington Trash. Wow. That's a good one.
I like that one. The trash skins. I like that. Nice one, Joe. Nice one.
But yes, for this week, that is it. Regular season pregame shows, no more. But we are. Oh God. Don't put that one up.
You knew it was coming.
You knew it was coming. Yeah. And there's a double entendre for that as well.
Damn it, Austin. Damn it.
But yes, so we will be back on next Tuesday for the post-game show. Then it's on to the pre-game show post-season style, where not post-season. Playoff season, whatever you want to call it. So we'll be back then. We will get, of course, the great and powerful Big Game James on again. Because we always love it. He always puts a smile on my face. I love it, mate, honestly. When we come to America next, we'll definitely, which we're planning to do in 2023. We will be
coming. When I come out there, we gonna kick it. I don't give a heck. We kicking it. I told when I get out there. No, when I get out there, I'm gonna go crazy.
Yeah. Oh, we'll definitely be finding things to do that weekend. That's for sure. Yeah. But it's been a pleasure talking to you. It's been absolutely fantastic, and it was too long. I know you were supposed to be with us during the draft show, but you were at the draft, so that's far much better than talking to us babbling idiots. So it was great to speak to you. And obviously, we will see you all after the weekend. Enjoy the Saturday game. It kicks off here in the UK at 1:15 in the morning. So get your coffee pots on. But from myself, from Big Gib James, Graham, and Paul, I'm going to let these guys sign us off, and we'll see you all again next week.
Thanks again, guys. Thanks for swinging by, and be sure to go and check out Big Game James as well. Go and check out his Twitter. And be sure to go and check everyone else as well, who's all Cowboys content creators as well. Show them all the love. But yeah, thanks for swinging by, guys. And yeah, let's get this win and on to the playoffs.
See you next time.
How about them Cowboys?
I just want to say right quick, man, I really appreciate you guys. I had an awesome time. Man, I had an awesome time. I got a big smile on my face. You guys bringing me in. I had a great time, man. And I love when we always talk. So, man, I can't wait till we talk again. And this, I really appreciate y'all bringing me on again. And you guys, salutes. Go Cowboys.
Yeah.